of choice. RB2.
All right, 7:40 so time on RB2, your station of choice. Not also to tell you from UNICEF. Violence against children and GBV. We're going to be talking to her on the other side. Hello, Ronaldo Potso, Kanakakelo. We got to on 3161 006 3161 006.
RB2.
This is RB2 Power Mornings with Petula and TH. Weekdays, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Your station of choice.
This is RB2.
7:40 is your time, and as promised, we're getting straight into this conversation. Limme Khomolemo Rasisi, who is a child protection specialist from UNICEF. And I mean, it's 16 days of activism against violence on women and children. So it's only right gore re kope ba UNICEF ba ileng gore ba itebagantse le yone violence against children gore batla ka kwano to tell us a little bit more about what the situation is like mo Botswana. Me Khomolemo, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, man. Thank you so much for having me, and good morning to your listeners.
Emma.
Thank you so much.
Maybe let's update and tell everyone that may not know as UNICEF lebomang ibile le itebagantsele.
All right, thank you so much. As UNICEF, an international organization that has been mandated to take care of children's rights globally, and here, particularly in Botswana, we have various programs that we support government in ensuring that the rights of children are met. We have a section that speaks to education, where we support government in ensuring that we offer quality education, that where there are issues, we work with them to improve on the policies that that sort of shape our education in Botswana. We also have a health program where we are looking at under 5 health, including maternal health as well. We have a lot of work that we've been doing around helping government to procure vaccines globally, because usually it's when we use our mechanisms, it's quicker and it's also less expensive for government. We have a program around child protection, which is the one that I lead, where we support government in ensuring that we have systems in place that prevent violence against children. In case we fail to prevent, at least be able to respond in a child-friendly manner. I think we'll get more into that as our conversation moves on, because it also includes some of the interventions that we are doing with government. And we also have a social policy program where we are looking at financing for children, because one of the most important things is that we need to be budgeting for our children. We need to be understanding how much government expenditure goes towards the improvement of the lives of children. And then we also have an HIV and AIDS and youth program, where we are looking at issues around employability of the youth, where we are looking, because what we realized was that when we only look at children from 0 to 18, we then miss out on those ones that are between the ages of 19 to 23, because these are the ones that are in the employability stage, so which usually most people don't cater for. So these are, in a nutshell, some of the programs that we do as UNICEF.
Lovely. Ibile ntisa go no go re daloga kana gore gongwe batho ba itse o ra itse gore ga re motho is a child ka molao wa Botswana ra dingwaga tse di tswang ha kae di hela ha kae.
Ha re re motho ke ngwana mo lehatsheng la Botswana, re ra motho dingwaga tse 0 go hela ka 18 years.
Okay.
And when we're talking and zooming in on violence against children, Ghana, because this is the next 16 days is about particularly that issue. Ha re bua ka violence mo baneng, re bua ka violence are there different types, and what exactly are they?
Okay. How about violence? We are talking about different forms of violence. Physical violence, which is the one that is usually most prominent when you look at research. Among children themselves, the physical violence. Studies have shown us that it is the one that is most prominent. We are talking about sexual violence. Sexual violence can come in different forms, which it can be rape, it can be exploitation, it can be also, making children to watch pornographic movies or even just exposing children to sexual, sexual intercourse at an early age. We are talking about issues of defilement. Then there is also the emotional abuse, where now it's about the way that we speak to our children, which are demeaning, which take down on their self-esteem. Yeah.
And mo ga rona violence e leng gore le bona thata ka ko UNICEF ke entseng yang ke
Yaanong the trend malatsinyana ke leng gore simolotse go gola ke kgang ya child neglect. We are seeing that many of our young, especially young parents, they are neglecting bana, where some of them and then someone works during the day, bana ba le ko sekolong, ha chaisa, they go out partying with their friends, bana ba sala ba le nosi mo malapeng. And this has led to other issues also coming into light, where now children are exposed to sexual violence because they are left alone. Ha gongwe they are left with strangers, ha gongwe they are left with people who you think you trust, and then at the end of the day bana ba hella ile gore they are experiencing sexual abuse. So ke ngwa tsone tse leng gore ya no ra le mo ga gore di simolla go gola thata.
And o bona yang o lemoga yang o le motsadi gore ngwana ke nkare o ka tswa a tshwengwa.
Tota hela, for you to be able to recognize it, it's about how close are you to ngwana gago, o itse ngwana gago go le kanang kang. Because once hela go nna le a behavior change e rileng, o tshwanetse re bo lemoga gore sengwa ga sa nna sentle. Most of the children become withdrawn. Ba bangwe ba bone ba simolola ba nna di delinquents. Ngwana o no ntse itse gore ke ngwana hele o siameng, all of a sudden e simolola nna delinquent, ngwana o simolola a sa reetse, because this child is trying to express themselves. They have something else. Bontsi ba sebaka gore when children experience abuse, they don't speak about it. They just keep quiet. And
Ba na le anger mme.
ba na le anger e ntsi. Ha gongwe ba bangwe ba bone, when they try to tell us re le bagolo ra ganetsa. So this is why some of them then tend to sort of they close out, and then ha ba sa thola ba bua ka kgang ya teng. So gona le gone gore ha ile gore ngwana is being physically abused, ha o le motho ke lo thoko, you can see bruises mo ngwaneng. Kana ke yona kgang ya gore e tare ngwana hela se tsa le bo 3 years ke bo ithapise e direle sengwe le sengwe, because we are too busy. And then we miss out on some of these obvious signs tse leng gore they are supetsa gore a child is going through abuse.
All right. Go khantsa gore di khantsone tsa violence against children ga ding ke di reportiwa. Go ngo seo se ka tsosa ba ke ke.
There are many reasons that have been forwarded tsa gore batho ke ba sa report. So sometimes ke gona gore abuse kana happens usually, or the studies have shown gore e diragala more the close knit family. So bontsi ba se ba ka go report ka gone kgang ya gore e nna gore we want to keep it within the family, or it's someone who is the provider mo lelapeng leo, and then people feel gore if we report this individual who is the provider, it means that gore re tabo re itshenyeditse. Ba bangwe ba ne ba feel gore it's the way that it's intimidating. Le go police station hela, I'm sure gore le rona hela re le kana go ya police station hela, it's something that is quite intimidating, which is why now we've supported government to come up with child friendly police stations gona gore bana ba khona gore ba nne free gore ba ye go report. Ga di enough, but at least it's a start.
Okay. All right, 7:48 is your time on IBT, your station of choice. Re mo puisong le mme go mo le mo Rasisi from UNICEF. Re bua jalo ka violence against children and GBV. Ga ona le potso re tshwara on 3161006. Send us a text message or re buisane mo our social media, mo Facebook with RB2, your station of choice. We're coming back.
When you send money cross-border, you want it fast, safe, and reliable. Get 20% off your transfer fees when using your Mukuru wallet to send money directly to a Mukuru card in South Africa or to a Mukuru wallet in Zim, Zambia, or Malawi. It's our most affordable way to send money. Sign up and send by WhatsApp +267 77 184 600. Mukuru is an authorized electronic payment service provider. T's and C's apply.
Attention all artists. Do you want to have your music play on RB2 and reach fans across the country? Well, then look no further. Submit your music to rb2musicsubmission@gmail.com and make sure to include artist stage name, artist real name, record label, if any, producer, composer, genre, release year, whether it's a single or from an album, and contact details. Let your music reach higher heights with RB2, your station of choice. Please note, All music must be registered with the Copyright Society of Botswana.
RB2, your station of choice.
RB2.
Botswana, the heartbeat of African excellence. For the very first time, the World Athletics Relays land on African soil, and Gaborone is the stage.
From the home of the reigning 4x400 meter world champions, the spirit of the blue, black, and white leads the charge.
This is our moment to welcome the world, to sprint, to roar, and to unite through sport.
Rise with Botswana.
Relay with pride.
This is RB2.
We're talking about different forms of violence. Physical violence, which is the one that is usually most prominent when you look at research. Among children themselves, the physical violence. Studies have shown us it is the one that is most prominent. We are talking about sexual violence. Sexual violence can come in different forms, which it can be rape, it can be exploitation, it can be also, making children to watch pornographic movies, or even just exposing children to sexual intercourse at an early age. We are talking about issues of defilement. Then there is also the emotional abuse, where now it's about the way that we speak to our children, which are demeaning, which take down on their self-esteem.
Choice.
It's yours. This is RB2.
RB2.
It's 7:51 and we're back in conversation with Me Khomolemo Rasisi, who UNICEF, the Child Protection Unit. She's a child protection specialist. And before we went for the break, but for those that manage to report and bring that courage to report, what are the steps that are in place to support them from there? Because as UNICEF, le support the government when it comes to these issues. How do you do that?
The way in which we have done it, especially I think in the past 3 years or so, is that we have been working on improving the justice system. Like I mentioned earlier on, that we have been working with the Botswana Police to come up with child-friendly centers. And then we now have been working with the Ministry of Justice and Correctional Services, where we have been looking at, because one of the complaints that were coming a lot was that cases were taking a long time to finish, where you will find Rwana was raped at 12 years and on case only when a child is 19 or when now they're an adult. You are making this person to relive their experiences. So we have been working on ensuring that we put in place mechanisms that will try and expedite these cases. And one such initiative that has been done, police station, they are now working with courts, where a child will come to a child-friendly center and then they will connect virtually with the court, and then the case, and we've seen the case anyway within 6 months, the case which is some of the things. But we are also not we are also trying to work with government to establish the child-friendly courts, because once we have these, it means we'll have magistrate they will be dedicated to the issues prioritizing the khanz. Confidence in our systems, knowing when I come to report, then I will be able to get services. So one of the things to say throughout a social worker has to always be present, giving support to one, telling one what is supposed to be happening as they go, doing reports saying what they are necessary to help to be able to make decisions. So these are still baby steps, but we hope that by the time we finish with everything, we will start seeing progress. But already we have started seeing it, especially through the child-friendly courts that they run virtually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ramo protector. right because re leba future ya ngwana gore gongwe go sa reporting ga di-cases go irwa ke gone gore gongwe bana o batsadi ba ipotsa gore hey ngwana rena ra go reporta case ntseng jaana ka moso seriti sa ngwana sa go hela ko kae le re to protect
Tata, what needs to happen ke gore so santahela dikgang tsa bana ha di reportiwa they have to be treated ka absolute confidentiality.
Yes.
People should not know. But how we tell gore matata ke gone gore kana when issues happen in a community people start talking, but it should only end up in that small community. The media, one of the things that we've been doing is we've been working with the media. We've even done trainings with them around child sensitive reporting, because Ghana, if something happens and then let's say for example and then people hear people can connect one and one. So that is why we always say please try as much as possible to ensure Wano is protected, because once you say the mother's name, obviously people start knowing who this child is. So whoever is working on these issues, I ke mapodisi, I ke health worker, I ke social worker, I ke magistrate, at all time the best interest of the child is what needs to prevail.
Yeah.
And when it comes to addressing socio-economic issues, poverty comes into play, child neglect comes into play, moto has access to wana kozo tlabare ke tla le rekela di grocery ko lapeng o ska wa bua. How do we address the root causes of abuse?
Most of what we have seen works. It's us having these conversations, these open conversations about these issues, because it's not a one solution fits all. It depends on who you are, where you are, your economic status, and all that. For some, it's really about uplifting them from where they are, bringing connected with all these programs that are being offered by government. Uplift them the dependency and the reliance on a perpetrator. Some people, when abuse happens, they are not even aware that this thing is abuse. They just take it for granted. It's life, things happen. But when you sensitize them time and again, you have these conversations, you interact with them. And I think one of the things that I must do is commend Mapodisa Aruna, because one of the things that they have done well, they go out to communities in efforts to prevent these things from happening. Law enforcement, but now they have taken it a step further. They work with social workers, they work with different stakeholders in communities. Ignorance of the law, it adjudicates you from wrongdoing. So me
anong bana bone re ba ruta ka tselentseng jang ka violence le ra ka tselentseng jala ko dikolong me le gona gore le rona ko lapeng batsadi re ka ruta bana ka tselentseng jang o simolla gore
you have these uncomfortable conversations. You don't have a choice.
Yes.
I one of the things what we are doing with Matishara is that we have come up with a training tool. How do they prevent and how do they respond to violence? And we have said now to them that as much as it is not your full responsibility, but you need also to play a role in educating Banaba from a young age about issues of violence. One of the things that we learn about education, we need to relook at our curriculum and see how much has it mainstreamed issues about violence, so that from a young age one understands violence, my body, my right. You can't touch me in this way. You can't do this thing to me when I don't like it. Children have to understand from that young age. So how until it's very late, and then changing a mindset. It doesn't happen overnight. It's something that takes a long time. So it's going to take multiple stakeholders for us as a nation to be able to address these issues. Because if we don't address VEC now, we are raising broken children. They are going to be very susceptible to gender-based violence as adults, because I agree with they've normalized violence. So now when they are adults, it continues being a lifestyle ya bona gore when somebody hits me because ke ne ke sa thatswa di plate or because ke ne ke dirile se, it's okay. So we need to teach them from a young age gore it is not okay. So re leka go engage with everybody, my teachers, social workers, everybody gore le bona ba nne le a role ha go ta go dikganyeng tsa violence.
Me Khomolemo, unfortunately, time is not on our side. But in closing, for those that would like to get in touch with UNICEF, talk about these issues, maybe even report, baka le tshwara ko kae?
Ka gore rona go rena tota ga go dire di case tsa reporting, I think what I would encourage people ke gone gore aba bue le ba ba maleba. Di social worker, for example, aba letsa mapodisi, go na le di toll free numbers tsa mapodisi. 116 ke number ya ko child line e leng gore hela ga ba letsa go yone they are able to get help, ebile ga e duelo ke number ya mahala yone ya 116. So rena re rotloetsa batho gore ba letse go di number tsone tseo. So rona will engage with government if there is anything tseno gore ba feel gore there is a gap that needs to be closed.
All right, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much, Chase, for having me. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you.
This is RB2. Across your workday.
Your station of choice.